Hi, I'm Robert Leo from YesHorsemanship.com, helping you teach your horse to say yes. And welcome to our video series, Training Dakota, a wild Mustang's journey from untrained to trail ready. In this series, we're going to be working with Dakota, a 5-year-old wild Mustang that we acquired from the plains of Wyoming, where she spent the first 5 years of her life untouched by human hands. So come, we invite you to join us for Training Dakota, a wild Mustang's journey from untrained to trail ready. Okay, so we've haltered Dakota a few times, 3 or 4 up to this point, but she's still not real comfortable with me walking up to her and just haltering her. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this lariat and I'm going to put it on her neck so I can have some control over her. Alrighty, so let's see if we can get the halter on her. This will be, I think, the 3rd time that we put the halter on her, so she's still pretty fresh with this process. So what I'm going to do is what I did to begin with, and that's desensitize her to the halter. I just don't walk up and sneak up on her and try and get this halter on her. I'm going to rub her with it, let her smell it, let her see it. I'm going to retreat so that she's not nervous about it. You want to use approach and retreat. I'm going to rub her with it, put her on her head, put her on her ears. I'm going to retreat. I want her to know that this is not a threat. I'm going to approach, and I'm going to retreat. All right? So she's being pretty good with it, so I'm going to go ahead and run it through the loop. Tighten it up a little bit. Make sure she's okay with it. All right? Now be careful you don't get your fingers anywhere in these loops. If she decides to take off, you don't want her dragging you with her. All right. I'm going to be touching her with this lead rope. I'm going to make her uncomfortable with it because it's not something she's used to. See, Dakota's experience with humans and their touch has always been negative. Chasing her, corralling her, putting her in a squeeze chute so they can vaccinate her. It's not been a pleasant experience up to this point. So I'm getting her used to a non-threatening touch by throwing the lead rope at her. Now how you do this is you stand to the side, and you take the lead rope, and you just gently toss it at her. All right? I want her not to react to this lead rope. I'm going to toss it around her legs, toss it around her neck, and I'm desensitizing her to touch and to my equipment. Now I'm not whipping her with it. I'm not throwing it in such a way that it's going to slap her. I'm just tossing it in a way that touches her gently so she can get used to the feeling of this on her. I'm going to put her on her head. Okay. I'm going to throw it on her butt. Throw it on her back legs. These are all things that she's going to have to get used to because I'm going to be cleaning her hoofs and trimming her feet and everything. So as she reacts to it, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep following her. If she moves away, I'm going to follow her until she stops moving. Okay? She wants to move, that's fine. I'll just keep following her until she stands still. I want her to stand still as I desensitize her to this lead rope. If I find a place that she's extra reactive to, I'll go back to that spot. Now a horse can make you think they can run away forever. They're very good at making you give up first. Well, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep going until she stands still. I want her to not react to my lead rope. Come here, girl. Okay? Come here. All right, so I'm going to go back to it. I'm not going to give up. Now she's standing still. I'm going to reward her by releasing the pressure. Good girl. Horses learn from the release of pressure. They don't learn from the application of the pressure itself. Pressure is anything that makes the horse uncomfortable enough to change its behavior. When you release the pressure, when they do the right thing, then they learn the correct response. And over time, the correct response becomes a habit, and then the habit becomes a behavior, and that's what you're really shooting for. So she's being better now. She's standing still, all right? Well, she was standing still. Now she's moving again, so I'm going to keep going until she stands still. Whatever you do on one side, you've got to do on the other, because a horse will see something on one side, and then when you go to the other side, it's like they've never seen it before in their life. Continue to toss this rope onto Dakota. How long do I do this? Well, I do until she stands still. Very good. She's standing still. I'm going to reward her by releasing the pressure. Now, before every training session, you want to do a desensitizing activity. And after every training session, you want to end it with a desensitizing activity. It's very important that the horse becomes desensitized to everything you can do and all your equipment and your tools. Everything she might encounter in her relationship with a human. All right, so I'm going to put this down and go get the practice pole. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drive her left for respect. So I'm going to point, I'm going to cluck, I'm going to use my practice pole to create pressure and move her out. I'm warming her up. Horses are just like any other athlete. You need to warm up before you get engaged in whatever sport you're in. Horses are no different. So I'll move her around for 5-10 minutes just to make sure she is focused on what we're doing. The way to a horse's brain is through their feet. The way you build respect in a horse is by moving their feet. So I'm building respect by moving her feet. She needs to know that I am in control of her feet. I am establishing that I'm number one and she's number two. So I'm going to move her around the ring a little while. Notice how she's not pulling on the lead rope. It's kind of relaxed, dragging on the ground a little bit. That's what I want. I want her to respect me and trust me. I want her to know that I'm not doing anything that's going to hurt her. Now the next exercise that we're going to do is desensitizing her to my pole and lead stick. Just like I did with the lead rope, I'm going to do with my practice pole. I'm going to stand to one side and just flip the string on this pole on her back, on her head, on her neck, on her legs. I don't want her to be afraid of this pole because I'm going to be using it for a very long time with just about every exercise I do. Now notice I can still touch her without being close to her. So now she's getting reactive. I'm not going to back off. I'm going to keep doing it, follow her around until she gets quiet. Okay? Like I said, horses are very good at making you give up first, but I'm not going to give up. I'm just going to follow her around until she stands still. I never release the pressure until she stops moving. Very important. 2 eyes, please. Not going to let her run off. She needs to realize that's not how to get away. I don't want her taking things into her own hands. I want her to stand still and quiet. And not react. All right? So let's just throw this on her a little bit more. All right? I'm moving to her side. She's not comfortable with me being on her side. She's not comfortable with this being thrown at her. Now remember, you don't slap her with it. You don't want to whip her with it. You just want to touch her. Touching her in areas that she's not comfortable with. Yeah. Do herself a little fit. okay. We'll come back to it. Come here, girl. Come here. Okay. She needs to learn that she doesn't get out way by throwing a little fit. Right now, she's sensitive to it. I don't want her to be sensitive to it. All right, so she's standing still after her little fit. That's good. I'm going to take the pressure away. I'm going to reward her. She did the right thing. Take the pressure off. Good girl. That's a good girl. All right. What I do on one side, I have to do on the other side. Move her feet a little bit. I want to make sure she doesn't get stuck. Now, what if she were to run off on this side? Same thing. Just keep following her. Pressure her to come in. When she comes in, release the pressure. Go back to what you were doing. I don't want her to think or learn that she can get out of this by reacting. The only way she's going to get out of this is by doing the right thing. You make the yes easy and the no difficult. The yes is standing still, doing nothing, and she is rewarded. See, now that's a lot easier than running around the ring throwing a little hissy fit. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So I'll do this for a few minutes on each side, getting her used to the practice pull. The next exercise we're going to do is called innies and outies. A lot of people think it's really cute to have your horse be in snuggly and come up on you and want to be in your face and put its head on your shoulder and, you know, cuddle. Well, it may be cute, but it's also dangerous. So I'm going to make sure this horse knows and respects my personal space. Personal space is a circle around my body about the length of my pole. This is my space. The only time the horse gets to come into my space is if I invite it into my space. And I'm going to call her in using body language. So I'm going to lean forward. I'm going to give her an exaggerated body language. And with my hand, I'm going to call her in. And with the lead rope, I'm going to gently apply pressure. When she takes a step forward, I release the pressure. I'm not going to try and get her to do everything all in one scoop. If she takes a step forward in response to what I'm asking, that's the correct response. I release the pressure. Let's do it again. I call her in, a little bit of pressure. Pressure. Okay. Took a step forward. I release the pressure. Good girl. Let's do it again. Exaggerated body language. Pressure. Call her in. Good girl. Okay. Good girl. Reward it by releasing the pressure. All right. Now I want to back her out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to waggle this lead rope under her chin. I'm going to use the least amount of pressure possible, but the maximum amount of pressure necessary to move her back. So I'm going to waggle using exaggerated body language and my hand and the lead rope. I'm going to waggle it under her chin. I want her to move out. If she doesn't, I increase the pressure. Waggle under her nose. Waggle under her nose till she moves back. Least amount of pressure possible, maximum amount of pressure necessary to achieve the desired result. So she's not moving, so I'm going to increase the pressure. Good girl. Now I release the pressure. Horses learn from the release of pressure, not from pressure itself. Yeah? So she did the right thing. I'm going to call her back in. Here we go. Here we go. Here. I'm inviting her in. Good girl. Let's move her back out. Exaggerated body language. Good girl. Good girl, Dakota. Keep her back. Don't let her come in. If she starts to come into me, I'll be very aggressive and whip that under her nose to make sure she understands that that was the wrong thing to do. Then when she stops and backs up, I'll release the pressure. Teach her that's what I want. So thank you for watching Training Dakota, a wild Mustang's journey from untrained to trail ready. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'll be putting out more videos every week. This is Robert Leo from yeshorsemanship.com wishing you happy trails.